What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and talk about what you should be looking out for next week for NIO. I'm going to talk about what on earth the volume and the data are suggesting for NIO, what on earth the news is saying about NIO, and what NIO put on their Twitter page. That's extremely bullish news for the long-term future, believe it or not. I'm going to actually explain why on earth this is going to be massive. Now, before I break anything down about NIO, before I talk about why on earth I believe the future is still incredibly bright, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. And not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100 into the account, you're going to get 10 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500. Once again, that's free money you're going to get just because you deposit money. It's like putting your money into a bank account. You're not losing anything. It's free money. And the best part about this free money is out of these 10 free stocks, 5 of them are going to come from this magic wheel right here. And when they come from this wheel, okay, you could get a free Tesla share, a free Google share, a free Apple share, a free AMC share, right? We all love these stocks. They have so much potential for the upside. So what are you waiting for? Sign up to get that free money. The offer ends in just 1 week. So please sign up before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So anyways, looking at NIO, this thing's up 8.29% for the day. Let's go. What else is very interesting is if you look at what on earth many data sources are showing, NIO has a beta, according to their monthly charts from the 5-year perspective, of 2.45. What this means is that if the SPY is up 1%, NIO is going to be up about 2.45%. Or if it's like down, it's going to be the same thing in the opposite direction. So you understand my point, right? The SPY was up. NIO should have been up about 2%, maybe 3%, give or take. And NIO was actually up over 8%, which goes to show that this stock was oversold for so long and really wants to push up. And this was my prediction from yesterday. I did think that we would actually see a green day. I did predict the blue line, and we actually went higher than what I expected, which is a pretty good sign. Now, when it comes to my analysis, there are some very important things we need to look out for. And the first thing I think you should look at, especially because we just closed on a Friday, is on Monday, right? On Monday, the market's going to be closed in commemorance of Juneteenth. It's going to be a national holiday, so the market will be closed, and next week will be a shorter week. Now, when it comes to NIO, there are some important and interesting things. There are 2 main gaps right now surrounding NIO. There's one gap down, okay? If you watch the chart, be on the lookout for this gap down here. And then we also have a gap up here. And I can actually show you this if I bring up the daily, because this gap actually formed a long time ago. Let me just zoom in. So see this right over here? Let me zoom in as much as I can. Oops, hold on. Let me go here. So right here, right off the bat, you can see there's this gap right here. And this gap actually formed back in April, and this would cause NIO to go to $22.45, which means 22.5 would be a key zone for NIO if we actually do push up even more. So I want to just put that out there. Now, I actually drew a horizontal line as to where the gap fill is. So when you see this, just know that that's where the gap is. So let me actually go back to the 1-minute chart for you and zoom out just to show you what NIO is doing. So what's interesting is NIO is showing this upward trend that has been actually perpetuating over the last couple of days. And from a technical perspective, it looks like we're getting closer and closer to this gap right here to that 22.46 level. Now, when pushing up, what's interesting is we did form a gap down here. So that is an important area to be looking out for, because in case this thing starts to drop sometimes next week, if we start just dropping and dropping, be on the lookout for this gap, because that could also be a zone. So I'm going to talk about a more bullish and bearish perspective in just a minute. I want to show you something else that's interesting, because one thing that dictates the way a stock moves is NIO is showing good volume, 81 million. The average volume was 71 million. So we are seeing some pushes going to the opposite direction. Now, historically, if I go down to the chart, it should be right here. The short volume percentage for NIO was relatively high, meaning people with short positions, whether they're sellers, whether they're shorts, whether there's manipulation or not, they were controlling the stock. They were pushing the stock down for a very long time. And you could see when NIO starts to push up, just like this moment right here, we got a drop in the short volume percentage. So a long time ago, when NIO was like kind of dropping, maybe starting to push up and hold up, the short volume percentage dropped down to like that 40%, 30%. And right now, it's been very high around that 45, 50% range, and it's starting to actually drop a little bit. So I want to see this drop even more. That would be a confirmation that NIO is going to make an even more parabolic move to the upside. So I just want to kind of warn you about this and just have you be informed, because when the time comes, it will be very interesting. Now, when it comes to the options data, and options are very important for stocks because they could actually dictate price action to a large extent. Now, the question is, do we have any gamma? And unfortunately, the way gamma works is, okay, when you have calls, just pay attention to the calls side. Right here, see how it says calls? These are just contracts where an individual thinks that the price will go up, and there are a bunch of different things you could do. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how they work, but calls could be in the money or out the money. And typically, there's usually like a balance for a healthy stock. For a stock to push up and actually gain gamma, we need an overwhelming amount of calls in the money and more in the money than out the money. So unfortunately, NIO had 83,000 calls in the money that expired today on Friday, and it had 218,000 out the money. What this means is that we're not going to see major gamma for NIO, so we're not going to just squeeze up to like $30 or $40 next week. It's not going to be that parabolic, at least as of right now, from this catalyst. Maybe FOMO could cause us to run up if we get FOMO, but I'm not saying that right now. So what do I think is going to happen? This is where things become very, very tricky. And the truth is, I'm going to go into more details about the price prediction in a later video on Sunday. But for now, I want you to be prepared for this, okay? NIO is in a key zone. We actually pushed and held above, what is that, like $20 for the large majority of the day. NIO wants to push up. It was doing very well. And if you look at the SPY, here's what's interesting. The SPY kind of got hammered down. It almost formed this head and shoulders. And what's interesting about that is, if I bring up the 5-minute candles, look at how the SPY just got hammered over the last couple of days. I mean, especially like the last week, look at this. It just got destroyed. And we almost, in my opinion, look like we want to form this head and shoulders. And it looks to me like we want to start pushing up just a little bit. So the SPY might actually fill the gap, go back to like 380, get rejected, and then start dropping again. So to me, that would be a bullish indicator. I can't confirm that just yet because we haven't shown the sign that we really want to push up. But as of right now, it is something to just keep in the back of your minds, because the stock market can't just crash endlessly, right? There has to be some relief temporarily. So this could be a catalyst that may actually help push the markets up alongside the NASDAQ and NIO as well. So for next week, okay, I don't know exactly what the future is going to hold. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. There could be crazy pieces of news we don't expect. Maybe there could be great news. But if you look at NIO, from a technical perspective, we're respecting this upward trend. I mean, if you look at NIO, we push up, we drop a little, we're just continuing to push up. And right now, it looks like we're also green in the after hours, and NIO is approaching this $22.5 level. So I wouldn't be surprised if NIO actually fills this gap sometime next week. It looks like it could do that. So that is the very key zone to be looking out for. Now, if NIO doesn't fill the gap just yet, or even if it fills the gap and starts dropping, you got to look out for that $20 range. This is where we have support. It's actually held up pretty darn well for today. And if 20 doesn't hold us, we're probably going to drop down to 19.5. And if we drop below 20, I would expect this gap down here to get filled, which would bring NIO down to that $19.23 range, 19.22. And we're not just going to bounce off the gap. We're probably just going to head to about $19. So be on the lookout for that. Be prepared for anything. That's essentially what I'm trying to tell you. But like I said before, I'm not just giving you two perspectives. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. based off this from a technical perspective and based off how oversold the SPY was, I think temporary relief, just a little bit of relief into the early days, is very possible. So I think we're most likely going to fill this gap soon. So NIO should be in the 22s relatively soon, in my opinion, based off the price action. I think a lot of investors are excited over the new ES7 SUV that came out. It has a good range. The range depends on the battery pack you're using for it. So it could go as high as 578 miles, which is still incredible. That's very, very awesome. I mean, it's a beautiful car. I'm going to show you how amazing it is in a video tomorrow. It just goes to show NIO is a very bullish company. They're doing fantastic things. And the huge catalyst I was talking about is this right here. NIO's Navigate on Pilot, or NOP, fuses onboard navigation, HD maps, and NIO Pilot to automatically, this is huge, automatically guide the vehicle to follow the navigation route in certain conditions. How incredible is that? So what this means is NIO is working on technology. It's integrating with full self-driving technology, and in the future, what they're trying to do is you could program your car. You just insert like the address, and you tell your car, I want to go home, and the car will automatically drive you there. Now, am I promising that they're going to get that this year? No, but they're working on it. They're improving, and in the next upcoming years, it's going to be a massive, massive market. I've talked about this for so long, and I'm a person, and the market is also like this. We're future looking. We're looking at the future, and this is going to be huge, a multi-trillion-dollar market, like I said before. So I just want to put this out there. I want you to know that NIO is working on technologies that are going to be massive, and it's really going to help the share price in my future, in my opinion, sorry, for the future. With that said and done, thank you for listening. I hope this video wasn't too long, and I hope I brought some value into your guys' lives. Thank you for listening. As stated before, I do see some temporary upside for NIO. This does not mean that the markets are perfect. Eventually, in the next few months, if we are truly in a recession, if that's announced, more downside could come. Just know that it's not the end of the world. NIO, a lot of other stocks out there have immense potential, and I believe NIO will succeed if you just give them time. The market's not perfect, a little bit choppy, but it is going to recover eventually, and NIO is going to soar, in my opinion, with all these bullish catalysts. With that said and done, thank you for listening. Have a great, great, great weekend. Enjoy Juneteenth. Spend time with people you love, and I will see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, and peace out.